But they really like this whole,
Glass is half full.
so I guess, yeah, we'll just look at it that way.
Yeah.
That's
Um,
great.
Okay, so update on the mural project. We have some community meetings coming up. Y'all are welcome to attend. You don't need to if you don't want to, but there will be an in-person option and a Zoom option. And the in-person's during the day, the Zoom's in the evening. So we're trying to be as available as we can kind of to people's schedules. Yes, yep, that's out, along with an online survey, because we're really trying to gauge what the community would be looking for in terms of murals. Creative Pinellas is compiling those. They said that they would provide me with an update the middle of this week, just kind of getting some stats together on what it's looking like so far. But yeah, because have you gotten a chance to look at the survey? Have you seen it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you kind of get an understanding of what we're asking for from people, and just to help us kind of steer the direction of what they would really. We don't want to put a bunch of stuff up the community doesn't embrace. So multiple ways there to be involved in that. I went with a representative of Creative Pinellas to a couple of our businesses recently. As you saw, Leverox and Florida Orange Groves Winery are on board and are basically ready to sign on for us to paint murals on their walls. They have to be willing to commit to leave it there for at least 2 years, and they're good with that. Another business that we had gone to, we went to Pasadena Liquors. And Jimmy was very supportive of the project. The concern that they have there is that the business is currently for sale. He's going to go back and talk kind of on his end as to whether or not basically leaving up a mural could be basically added into whatever contractual sale occurs, because he is looking to maintain ownership of the property. He's just looking to sell the business, so he would then be the landlord. So they're not out of consideration at this moment, but they couldn't be as firm of a yes as a couple of the other businesses that are our owner and not for sale and are ready to sign on. So hope to hear back from him. If not, we'll be kind of trying to bring on at least one more business so that we have a third all ready to go, and we're kind of trying to spread them out
What
to
about
start.
the bowling
That's
alley?
gonna be my question.
So the bowling alley is one of the ones that we have in consideration for the overall project. However, I'll say the wall that we have been looking at is the wall that faces the fire station. And with the construction that's happening now, they didn't think that that was a good one for us to be pursuing right now. So it was sort of let's see maybe where we're at for the campaign that's going to go through the winter, and see if that's. But right now we don't know what that construction's gonna end up being like over there, and so trying to.
Fire station.
The walls we'd wanna paint are gonna have big bay doors on them, but they won't be done till next May, so. It's a thought for going forward, but we have a list, and we've contacted several businesses to schedule meetings to come talk with them, so.
Requirement that the bay doors, the glass in the bay doors has to be clear, or can it have that's
Are we changing the rules
She's
now?
over there going, what the heck?
I see somebody having a heart attack.
I was
back
gonna
there.
say, he's gone white back there.
The whole idea of the glass bay doors was to give the open appearance to the public to see the trucks and like a
I got you.
public want to cover, and that was a big part of the design.
Yeah,
yeah.
so I will be,
I mean,
getting back with you all
nice
about it.
big mural of all
See the
5
sweat pour off
commissioners.
I know. Sweat.
He's all right now.
Yeah.
The color's gotten back in his face at least.
Hold on one more.
Yeah, so, but the overall kind of feedback we're getting is very positive for this project.
Yeah.
So,
Well, the people
yeah.
I've spoken to have been like, we want bright colors, we don't want anything depressing,
Weird.
depressing.
Anything
Yeah, I guess
weird?
people have seen depressing murals in
There's some
St.
weird
Petersburg.
stuff down
Oh.
in St. Pete.
And
Well,
they
there's
said, well, we're not going that
stuff.
route. And of course,
Yeah.
a lot of them have suggested artists, because they've had it done at their businesses and things like that. But still, it's just some bright colors. They want things to be bright.
Yep.
They want our city
And
to
that's
be-
kind of what our overall feel was even before we opened it up to the community, because I've, been meeting with them for almost a year and sort of thinking that, kind of some of the abstract, there's one in St. Pete that's basically like a speckle paint, and I don't think that's gonna go over as well. I think people wanna see actual imagery
Yeah.
of something. So yeah, hopefully the survey kind of points us in a
Good
solid
direction.
direction. Yeah. So yeah, so that's moving forward. If you want to come to the meetings, you're welcome to.
Excellent.
Please help us if you can. Jump on our Facebook page and share the city's posts with that information. Because if people choose not to be involved, that's one thing. But what we really hate to hear is when something happens and then we get feedback afterwards of I didn't know, I didn't have a chance to be involved. And it's like we have these opportunities, so we're trying to make sure that at least the people that want to be involved know how they can.
Would we be able to use that, the billboard to do any advertising about it?
It's very expensive.
Is
Well,
it?
so we
Yeah.
Well, but sometimes they
Well, we
give
get
us a
free
deal,
stuff.
right?
Clear Channel gives us a certain number of free ones a year.
Yeah, we get free.
They've typically been allotted to our events. I can check and see how many we use for our events and how many we would potentially have left. Because if it meant that we couldn't put it up for like the boat parade, I wouldn't want to do that. I'd
Oh,
rather have
yeah,
it.
no.
So
Yeah.
we can ask the question of how many we've got and if they would let us. But yeah, they do give us a handful of freebies a year. So I can ask. But
Handouts, that we used to do in the old days.
we can.
I mean, just something to get more participation, anything, give some out they can put in the condo lobbies, they can put some on doors or
Yeah,
whatever
we
we
can
used
run
to
some
do.
of these and ask. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay,
absolutely. We
okay.
get
Something to
mixed.
think about.
I'd have to ask you guys because we honestly get mixed feedback on some of those because some of the condos are like, stop bringing us paper because they just, and and
They
then
get so
others.
much stuff.
Yeah, so we kind of get such mixed feedback on flyers and handouts.
Yeah,
So some really like it and some are like, stop, it just ends up everywhere. So, but we can offer at least. So we email we have a contact list for like the managers and whatnot, so we can email them and I'm sorry? I can't, off the top of my head, I don't remember, but no, some like it and
Yeah.
some don't.
I don't think
So,
we're fine with
yeah,
it.
so, okay. Move down, newsletter articles, they were technically due by Friday. If you know you want to put something in, please let us know, and at the very least, we can save space. So if you've got something and it's like, hey, can I get it in by next month? That's fine, we just need to save the space, so please let us know.
well, I see that, Linda gave us
I was gonna mention.
a copy of, I guess, the article she's gonna do.
I just want to ask you on that, though. You just said that they're thinking of selling.
Yeah,
It's for,
Little
it's for sale, the
a little
business is for
concerned
sale.
over,
Yeah, I didn't know, he didn't say.
kinda happened with our last one by accident too.
I know.
Yeah.
So,
What are we talking about?
Was he one of the people?
Valenti's.
Well, I guess he went through the process of asking to have a thing put in or something? Like we, from the article, in our newsletter, we say if you want to have your business talked about.
no, he didn't. No,
Oh.
he didn't. I was in there and I just said something to him and he said, I said, we were featuring different businesses because they promote Pasadena. And he said, oh, that would be really nice. And he was the one that was all for it, but he never said a word about that he was set it up for sale. So I'm gonna stop in there
Well, I
and
mean,
say,
what's
hey,
Well, I
wrong
love
with-
Jimmy, they've done a lot for the city.
Yeah.
It's just concerning to put something in, and what if you got a quick sale,
yeah,
and then we did all this, and it was,
that's like promoting the sale. I'm gonna stop by there and ask him. I'm gonna ask him.
well, anybody, I think anybody you do approach though, have them go through the city.
Yeah.
Making sure they go through here, so we go through the process that we set up in the beginning.
Yeah, that's why,
That's all.
that's why I submitted that.
Yeah,
just
'cause
to
otherwise
say-
it's good, but we need to follow the process.
Where
Yeah.
did you submit it?
Admin needs to know. Here,
Here's, okay. I guess that's sort of my question is just, because we had been telling businesses that they were interested, that they needed to email the city
right, we
because
weren't
we
gonna go
were,
and approach them, we're gonna have them
Yeah, we were
contact
gonna
us.
bring
But if we
the
do approach
option
them,
so
they
that
need to
you
go
all-
through the process
Yeah.
Yeah,
and request it, yeah.
yeah.
for you all to decide.
Well, the only
Amongst
reason I went there,
yourselves
because
first.
some business might not want to be in, and then again, they are selling, so,
Well, not everybody reads
Yeah.
our
They've been
city
selling
connection,
for
so it
2
doesn't mind
years.
bringing it up to
Yeah.
them, but then make them go through the process.
They've been selling for 2 years.
Yeah, oh, have they?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
So they're just looking for the right buyer, and, I mean, I think the idea of promoting with all that the Valenti family has done for the city and,
I agree.
you know, we should.
And
we
as
should-
Carly said, they're selling the business, not the building, so the business would probably it would stay as Pasadena Liquors, so.
Right, and I think that's what they're looking for.
Yeah, they're trying to take over the business.
Yeah,
I mean,
because it'd be easy to sell the building,
yeah.
Yeah.
I
you
mean,
know, because I know CVS was interested at
Wells
one
Fargo
time,
probably.
having a corner spot.
Yeah.
I think they're trying.
That's all we need is one more.
Yeah, one more CVS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah, no, I think it's a good idea.
Okay. Let's go forward with it.
Okay. Can you email this to me?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
going to, yeah, I was
Yep.
gonna bring the thumb drive in, but I didn't bring it with me.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Okay, back on to,
Yep, scrolling down. I'm gonna throw out a date to Marine Max for the boat parade. It's the same Friday that we had just had this year, which seemed to work really well.
yeah,
So if y'all are good with that, we're gonna try to, get that nailed down with
December
them.
8th.
So are you
Looked
gonna
good in my
mention-
calendar.
Are you gonna mention to him again to make sure he stays with those boaters to the end, because some of them couldn't find the way back? to
Yes,
go?
yeah, we'll,
Yeah.
we'll have some more meetings with them. I just wanna get the date
Yeah.
set and out.
Okay.
Just cause that seems to help, and as long as all the other cities, if we all follow the pattern we had last year, which we try to do, is pick a point in December and stick with it, so that
Yeah.
you don't conflict. I just really wanna get that out there, that like, hey, everybody, this is the Friday we're
They can all
doing.
follow them
So
back to the
don't-
marina.
Don't pick
Yeah,
it,
because some
but
of
yeah,
them
we'll make
said
sure
they
get
don't know
saved, yeah.
the waters real well, some of those
They
boaters,
need
Yeah.
to do that direction.
and they want to
Yeah.
follow back.
We'll have several meetings along the way with Marine Max. Sean will come and we'll meet with their captain, and we have comments of what worked, what didn't work, that kind of thing. So we'll let them know to try to stick a little closer and get them back to where they are familiar, so.
Okay, we're
Um,
gonna talk about the audio video system in July, August, I guess?
so I have, the, company that we have used previously that, did a really good job for us before and have a lot of state contracts, the company we intend to use. They're gonna be coming out in the next couple of weeks to look at what we, have and basically propose, an update. I'm hoping that we can actually have the update done during the July and August break with you all, because otherwise it's hard, I can't have this equipment down. So the summer is really the time of year that I can have a lot of this redone. So that's the goal, it's in the budget for this current year to do it, so, and we'll talk about that more during budget. But the money is there for us to update the AV systems, so the plan was to do it in July and August,
Okay,
so.
okay. Sounds good.
The end, so Form 1s went out, hopefully you got them in the mail, send your Form 1 in if you need help, I can help you with that. The Florida League of Cities Conference is in August in Orlando, registration is not open yet, but if you let us know that you want to, as soon as it opens, we will register you, because we try to get you at the conference hotel, because that books up very quickly.
What are the dates on that?
August 10th to 12th,
What do you think?
put you in- okay.
Me too.
okay. And honestly, if you think you might want to, let us know, because we can sign you up. It's easier for us to cancel than to add you on later. So if you're like, I think I'm gonna go, let us know and we'll,
Put me on.
I'll let you know
we'll,
something in the next couple of days.
okay.
I gotta
Okay.
make sure I got nowhere in
So-
August.
Yeah, the hotel,
I mean, the one in Orlando, there's plenty of room in the hotels, but when they do the one in
Hollywood.
Hollywood,
That was last
some
year.
people ended up in Ed's Beds Hotel. Because the place, really, because they signed up late. So it's better to sign up early on. I think all the people from St. Pete Beach got stuck in another hotel. So it's better to sign up and then if,
Well,
you
that's
know.
okay,
What?
it's okay, they were in another hotel.
Yeah, right. And I guess Carly will let us know the deadline for cancellation.
Yeah, I'd rather sign you up and then watch the
Yeah.
cancellation than not, because it is very hard. And then you end up just trying to find somewhere close
Where is
by
it?
and
It's
get a
in Orlando
drive.
this year?
Yeah, it's in Orlando.
Okay.
Is it the
Bonnet
Marriott
Creek. I
again?
think it's the Bonnet Creek thing.
Let me look, they
Oh, different
did,
one.
Yeah,
I think
it's
so.
Hollywood or Orlando, so.
No, it's Orlando.
it's
Yeah,
Orlando this
But,
year.
you know,
Yeah,
it's not the
at
Marriott?
Oh, it's the same hotel, the Marriott, right?
It's the Signia by Hilton Orlando Bonnet Creek.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow, a different one.
It might have been blown out.
Well, the last time we went to the Marriott, I think it was the Marriott, the pool was all being torn up, I mean.
Oh, the World Marriott, the big one.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
so,
also see you mention about a site visit.
Yes, so,
Like
spoke with Chief about that. We're getting close to we're about 6 months in on the construction. We've been posting pictures, every week on the Facebook page, but just wanted to put it out there. If any of you were interested in kind of walking the site one day, that we would schedule that with the contractors, and we just need to make sure, we've got hard hats and whatnot for you. But doing kind of a walkthrough, just so it may be helpful to you all if you're getting questions and whatnot of where we are in the process, what's been done.
Schedule after like a morning meeting, a Tuesday morning meeting, we can all just go over there afterwards.
Yeah, field trip.
Yeah, do a little field trip and just take a walk around, look at things.
Exactly.
Okay, so we have a meeting with the contractor coming up this week, so we'll talk with them and try to get that scheduled. So then we'll try to set it after maybe one of the workshops so we can walk over there, so.
Sounds good.
I stopped by there this morning, of course, they had the gates were wide open, and I was just in there looking around, so. I know it's one, we came back from vacation, I saw one of the gates laying outside. Yeah. I was like, well, I guess there was no big storm over here. But,
Well, hopefully it wasn't down for long.
yeah, no,
they've been
they had to
very
back up
mindful.
almost immediately,
Yeah, they've been very on top of the
Yeah.
state of the site, the fencing and whatnot. They've been very, as far as I know, Terry would be better at the, but I'm out there a lot and it's always very put together.
And I see the
so.
Gabber is gonna allow us to put a small article in there.
So they have offered that to either individual commissioners or the commission as a whole to submit monthly, so it wouldn't be every issue, but they would publish a 500-word column for free. So wanted to put that out to you all in case you wanted to discuss how y'all feel about that, and who would be sending stuff in, or if you want any process in place. It's really a policy decision for you guys, but I just wanted to let you all know at the same time, because what we would hate to do is have multiple commissioners putting in things that were in conflict, but it's up to you guys. So they have put that offer out, so if you're interested, I can get you that information, but I wanted to let you all know that that offer has been
Yeah.
extended.
I mean, I already do an article for a lot of different publications
So-
now. I'm not sure how many words I use though, probably more than 500, I'm sure.
Yeah,
I'd have to
a
look at
decent
it.
sized article, but,
I'll let you know.
okay, so, food for
What
thought.
else does we want to do?
That auction
Okay.
is there.
Anything else over and above?
I think that's it, unless you had anything
it?
else for me.
All right, well, that covered everything up here, of course. Let's see, where am I at? All right, so we got a sun bench request. What's that?
That was from me.
You, okay.
From me. It was, I wanted to get one for my late husband, and then, Rick wanted one for his brother, which had passed away. And I think I spoke with you and said I walked along there and most of them were all taken. Carly did tell me one over by the hospital. But you had said possibly those green benches that are over there, they could be replaced because they're not in concrete in the ground?
Well, yeah, we'd have to talk to Public Works. I'm not sure why those weren't changed out. Sean, do you know why we didn't change those green benches out there and Fred held?
So many color benches.
Is that what it is? Okay.
But I did take a picture of two spots and the corresponding one that is taken, so you'd know the position where I was looking at.
I know we've had requests from
Yeah.
other residents about having a waterfront one, and we've kind of turned them down because we didn't want to add anything extra in there. So I'd be concerned about granting permission for a commissioner to have one, and we've turned down other people.
Do we have any more benches?
Are we
No.
talking about
We have to order
the
some
color
more.
benches?
Yes.
Yeah, replacing the green.
We would have to order more, right?
Yeah, we don't have
Like
any
Fred
extra.
House.
You mean every one of them is spoken for?
There,
The
yes.
waterfront
the
ones.
waterfront.
Oh, the waterfront
Yeah.
one.
Yeah,
Okay.
except for one at the hospital,
Yeah.
It's a
which
hospital.
after this meeting might be gone.
Yeah.
Uh, So it's
Yeah.
on the water. But yeah, no, I don't know.
So we've
Like I said,
turned
we-
other people down?
Yeah,
Or
we always
this.
get requests from people that want to have something on the water, it's popular, and they were snatched up quick, like right away.
Well, there's two that are kind of sitting back from the water. It's not right on the water, but it is facing those green benches.
Well, like I said, my concern is that we didn't make a special exception for these other people and order more benches, and then we would do it for a commissioner, would be my main concern. I would be worried about that, because if I was gonna do it for you, I'd do it for anybody else that would have requested, and we didn't. So, I think it's, at least I think, the rest of you guys have, of course, a vote on this, but, that we got the one at the hospital, and I don't know what else otherwise to do. So, I mean, I don't think I wouldn't add a bench to make a special exception.
So we still have a certain number of benches that aren't particularly spoken for, right?
There's benches that aren't claimed, but they're all installed, so we don't
They're all
have
installed, but
any.
they're not,
Yes, so
dedicated.
there are
Right.
several that are not claimed, they're just already
Right,
cemented
I see what
in
you
somewhere
mean.
else.
Yeah.
The only reason I
So-
asked for the water was my late husband was a boater,
Yeah.
and that's why I said I did have his, I have
Nice
his,
to be able to go there.
his cremains, I do have that, you know, so.
Yeah, I think I would snatch up the one by the hospital. I know you probably want to look at it first, though I know I would, to see which one it is, and go from there, but I just feel uncomfortable,
I would too.
yeah, so, that's all. Okay.
Let
Everybody,
me just ask you then, if you're saying that for the other people, you'd feel uncomfortable, and I do understand that, but is it possible, if people are asking, and there is one, could we put people on a list that possibly, if you get like 6 people, we could say, okay, you have these, or we could put them somewhere, like where those green benches are, that, the green benches are not real attractive over there at the Fred Hill Park, but could you put someone on a list and say, if possible, that, if we get enough people, we can remove those green
to
benches?
pay the fee and get them
Yeah,
installed.
because if
Sean,
I-
what's the issue is there any issue with installing, taking those green benches out and putting anything else there?
Just don't have the benches.
Yeah, how many green benches do we have there right now?
I think there's at least 6 left over there.
Yeah, I don't, right off the top of my head, I don't remember. I know there's at least 1 or 2 of them still along the water,
Yeah.
but, all the green benches that were along the water, we just moved back and put them under trees.
Yeah.
Right.
Just because we already had them, so we just
Yeah.
you just
Yeah.
stuck them out there because we
Yeah.
already had them.
And that's like our only.
Those are
that's like
our
that's
green
only
benches
waterfront
though,
that
right?
We've
Right,
got a bench
yeah.
at. We don't have any at,
No, there's a couple, there's some at like the other mini
Hate
parks
those
and
items.
whatnot, but
Right.
as far as I know,
they're taking
they're,
them too.
they're claimed, yeah, well, because, they've been out for a couple of years, so the water ones are the ones that they went very quickly when they first went out, so the hospital ones we added,
Mine's right out there.
Yeah.
because
I
we
can
had
see it from
extra,
here.
we put those.
Are there any at, excuse me, I can't remember the name of the park right now, where we do the boat watch, we watch the boats when they go by? Yeah.
No,
There's
but I
there's
don't
no-
think we can put them
Oh, because of
there.
the, agreement we have.
Because,
for the-
yeah, I think we purposely did not put any out there
Sean.
because of the status of that park.
Sean,
I'm listening.
we can't put them in the bird area there.
I don't think so.
No, I don't
would
think
have to
so.
Because that was a grant, so I would have to contact, the state,
Yeah.
DEP has that, so I doubt it, but, I mean, I can find out. But, I mean, you can't get, but until we're allowed to open that up, nobody's allowed back in there during.
That's true too, right.
Oh, yeah.
You wouldn't want to put a bench where it wasn't open to the public.
Right.
Well, how would you guys feel about doing something like Lynn has asked, then about, to see how many people we'd get out there?
But then how do you prioritize who gets the bench?
Yeah, I mean, the citizens would have to be
Well, you'd have to
first.
be on a list, and the top of
Yeah.
the list gets what to choose versus who's on the bottom of the list.
We couldn't put a commissioner at the top of the list.
No,
You
no,
would've-
no, no, no.
No,
Oh, I
just-
wasn't,
just saying,
I wasn't
it-
saying that, I wasn't saying.
So, I mean, it could be that we did that, and it's still, you would not be able to get a bench. I
Yeah.
mean, because the citizens would come first.
But
Um,
I just figured to the public, if they wanted it, you could be on a list. I wasn't saying to put myself anywhere on that
Yeah,
list.
yeah, I
Yeah,
don't know,
yeah,
I understand, I just,
Yeah,
more benches, I have no problem with more benches. They're in the park though, not visible out on the street, which is, I like the color out on the street myself. But something we can, how many calls, do you get any calls anymore about the benches? I know I've run.
Yeah,
I've
I mean,
run a-
people contact us about them.
Are they mostly leaning
Regularly.
towards wanting something on the water, or they just?
That's basically the first question we get, yeah, is
Well,
what's still
why
left
don't
on the
we-
waterfront.
Why don't we just on a trial type basis, just, let's say, over the next 6 weeks, see what kind of calls you get. Tell people, say, well, let me give you your name and number. The commission is thinking about maybe possibly adding something. And let's just see what type of request you get.
Okay.
I'm just trying to look at,
That sounds
this is not a guarantee, tell them, but we're thinking about it, and we'd like to give your contact information in case we do.
Okay.
Because I think it would look better in that park to take out those greens, have them all uniform, it would look really pretty, because those green
Yeah.
benches are just like an
They're an
afterthought.
eyesore.
Huh?
They're an eyesore.
They are, yeah,
It's hard to sleep on them.
yeah.
Well, that's part of the deal.
Well, yeah, we were trying to move away from the green benches period. We only left them
Yeah,
out there
I don't
because we
like
already
any
had them,
green
so it was like,
benches.
just stick them somewhere.
They do make a good anchor for
So-
some of the boats though, so,
Apparently.
yeah.
They need to go.
There's a lot of people have some historical significance to the green benches.
Yes,
They
well,
think
those are
about it.
not the
They've been
same
there forever.
ones.
Yeah, but it's a bench and it's.
No,
green.
I get it. Hey, nobody's more anti-green bench than me.
I'm not anti.
You could see my picture. To
Okay,
prove it.
all right, well, let's try that, just,
Okay.
just see what you
Yep,
get,
we'll
kind of
make
response
some
you get, and in
notes
about
and
6
kind of see
weeks,
the
let us know.
questions
and-
that we get, yeah.
Yeah,
That works.
okay, okay. Compromise.
Absolutely.
Oh, now we gotta do the budget. Okay.
I'm ready for a nap.
Where's
Do we need a
Jim?
5-minute break in here?
Yeah, we need a 5-minute break, I think.
Yeah, let's do it.
You wanna take a break?
Yeah. For one thing, just so I can make some room. All the stuff we had today.
Have a lot.
We live?
Yep, you're in
All
live.
right, so we are back, on a small break. And we're getting ready to go into the budget. Jim, where you want to lead us?
Okay, left handout's on the table. Start with the one that says Exhibit A. It's basically our 2024 budget in the far right column, and then shows 3 previous years' budgets. To just try to do a summary on that, then we'll go to our 5-year plan. And I'll have the other department heads can come up and kind of go through some of their stuff. And you'll see some of the details of, the numbers are grouped here by, I mean, all the equipment is grouped together, but you'll see the list on the 5-year plan. So just start by giving you kind of a broad overview of the capital. And basically, on the 5-year plan, there's 3 different capital. We have our capital projects fund, which is on this Exhibit A, which is by far our largest. But our sewer fund and our reclaimed water fund, they're both enterprise funds. They can have capital expenditures in those. This year, there is nothing in reclaimed water, and there is a small amount in sewer, but we'll get to that when we get to the 5-year plan, so.
Starting on Exhibit A?
Exhibit A, yeah, and I'm just gonna give you I also gave y'all a copy of the balance sheet for the Capital Improvements Fund as of May 31st, and you can just kind of see the makeup, because I was gonna give you a real quick overview on the cash position here. And our cash is spread out into various accounts. You'd have to add all those up there on the first page on the balance sheet. Checking had $366,000. Our State Board of Administration, we had $10.7 million on there, but you'll see everything listed where we have it. So that's the primary reason I gave you all that. But just in general, as of May 31st, 23, the Capital Improvements Fund had $14,765,628. And if you break that out basically into 2 different groups, most of that is our loan proceeds funds. We have, at this point, we have $9,924,000, almost $925,000 in there. And the city funds, excluding that, would be about $4,840,000. So just to give yourself a perspective of what's sitting in that cash, most of that's our loan proceeds at this point in time.
For the station.
Right, exactly. My estimate as to where I'll be at the end of September 23, I'm thinking my cash is gonna be around $7.3 million. And I don't even want to try to get into my calculation on that, because they're just basically looked at expenditures that we have budgeted that I know we haven't spent and I think we're gonna spend, and additional revenues that are gonna come in, and kind of looked, and that's kind of where I'm projecting ourselves to be. Kind of covered it when we went over the department head report. At the end of May 31st, we have only $10,792 to use for our American Rescue Plan Act. So after that, we'll start drawing on that 9.9. And for the couple months that it's been sitting in there, I think when I was looking, we've earned $60,000 in interest on that money since April 14th, since we put it in there. So we're earning a little bit of interest, which is going to be helpful. Just a little nostalgia. Through May 31st, our expenditures for the fire station total $3,371,625. Some of those go back a couple of years. They include legal fees and other things, buying the property and all that stuff. To date, we've paid Biltmore, to date being May 31st, we've paid Biltmore $1,884,000, and Wanamaker and Associates about $600,788. I went back and did an analysis, and pre-closing expenditures that I'm hoping we can reimburse out of the 9.9 are about $850,000. I sent a letter to the attorney asking if I can take it, and I have not had a response yet. But big part of that 850 is the land purchase cost of $711,000. So, I guess the 7.3 million starting is important, just to kind of see where we'll be at the end of 2024. Going to Exhibit A. Just real quick, going down the list there, I budgeted $796,000 in penny for Pinellas or infrastructure tax versus the 723. You see that we budgeted last year. Based on what I'm seeing, I'm thinking we're gonna do better than that 723. We're projecting about 765,000, so I'm hoping that number's up. And basically, I just bumped it 4% to come up with that 2024 budget. There's a lot of talk of a recession in the last half of this year, which could affect sales tax. So I didn't want to get too crazy on that number. So that's where it came from, 4% of 765,000 basically, of what we think we're gonna get by the end of the year. That next item is EMS money down below. You see there's a vehicle EMS fire, $50,000. That's the deputy chief's vehicle. County will provide 75% of the funding for that. So that 37.5 is funding from Pinellas County EMS. That next income, grant income, there's two big items in the expenditures. We talked about getting an emergency generator in Public Works. It's down towards the bottom there, $275,225 for Public Works. And the emergency generator for City Hall, $412,500. My suggestion would be we only do that if we do get a grant for that, and I think we have applied for that. And in that grants number up above, that $769,795, $515,795 is 75% of those. So it would offset, and I think we would have about $170,000 cost if that happened on those generators.
So we've already applied for that.
Chief's already put in.
We're in the process.
Process.
We're in the process of applying,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah, yeah. So we're not sure if we'll get it, but we put it in the budget. I think that came about last year at the EOC. Our concern is, in a hurricane situation, power goes down here. If we lose our server, it could put us in a bad situation, so they want to be able to keep that up. So that's the primary reason, and then also one at the Public Works, so. In addition to that, $515,000, we got the pavilion listed as an expenditure. It's one of the major items on page 2. We upped that from $725,000 to $800,000. Sean thinks that price is going to go up a little bit on that. And so included in that grants line is $250,000 that they originally applied for and said we qualified for. So it includes $250,000 also in grant money up there.
On page 2, which one is the?
The 800,000
$800,000
Habitat.
Habitat. It says Habitat. It's not. It should be. That should say Bayview. The spreadsheet just keeps going out and out and out and out. Originally, it was for the Habitat, but that's for the Bayview Park Pavilion. That 800,000. So
Was the second page, that 94,000 for recreational.
Sean put in, 50,000 for playground equipment across the road and I guess some major work out there that he wanted to do. And 44,000 said, is it Hoffman Dock or Huffman?
Yeah, the Huffman
The
Dock out
Huffman
there,
Dock.
yeah, it's-
Huffman
it's
Dock,
not
so-
for we-
So it's those two items.
Okay,
The dock
okay.
And then playground across the street there.
And the playground, so that, as Sean said, that'd be done pretty much the same time as the Bayview, so you're taking,
Yeah.
you're
yeah,
putting it
we're gonna
all
have to- if that
together at the
happens,
same
we're gonna have
time.
to Close that down, so.
Yeah,
Did the tennis courts get resurfaced?
They're gonna be this summer.
Okay.
Yeah, already, yeah, that's already in the works. We're just on the waiting list.
Okay, so, and then there's another $4,000 recycling grant we get from Pinellas County's in that 769, so.
I see an increase in our visioning beautification. Is that mural costs, stuff like that?
So it was basically just that, since I'm gonna be using everything that we had been budgeting, we upped it slightly in case anybody else needed something for something else. I mean, we can leave it the same, but that means that the entire thing is dedicated to
Yeah, no.
the murals, so it's up to you guys, but that's that overage.
I'd like to see that at 100,000 myself, just because we need to keep our city up. We might not spend it, but it's nice to have it there if something comes up that we could use it for. But, what do you guys think?
Well, it's stagnant at 50 for years, why not?
have we been using the 50 per year, pretty much?
Not the full 50.
No, huh?
We haven't done a lot in a lot of years, and we're moving forward.
Past previous 2 years, it hasn't been planned items, they've been things that have popped up and we've used it for beautification. It's been running around 28, 29,000 the past 2 years. So I threw in an
That
extra
includes
25
like
just so we have
plants
money.
and flowers? No, it doesn't. This is capital, right?
I mean, it
It
could
could.
if you get a major landscape, but
Yeah.
it typically doesn't. Sean's got money in his operating for plants and.
It's been more
things
for
like that.
unplanned things.
Yeah.
Things that we decided
Like
to
when
do
we
throughout
put
the year
those
that we didn't already
Madrigal
budget.
palms, I think they're on Gulfport there years ago. That was capital because it was a big expense.
Like maybe entry signs to the city.
Things like that we decided to do midway through the year that we hadn't talked about before, yeah, comes out of that, so.
100 makes sense.
Down for years there. Let's do it. We'll probably come up with some ideas.
You wanna put 100 in?
Yep.
Because 50 of it's dedicated already to the
Yeah.
murals, basically, so.
Oh, that's right too, yeah.
so.
So in reality, we only have 50 left over.
Here we are.
Yeah, because 50 of it is already
Sure.
And
spent.
that might go over, you never know.
It's contractual,
we
so
hope
hopefully
not,
not, but yeah,
Yeah, we have 50
Hope-
We don't want it to.
hopefully not.
in 2023, and I think we've only spent like $4,000 of it or something, and we're planning on using that. for
And the rest of it is for,
this
Sure.
yeah.
And then next year, kind of a second tranche for year.
And the visioning and beautification, can that also be used for Christmas lights?
I think he's got separate light items.
It could, but there is a separate line item.
Red,
for
white,
that.
red, white, and blue ones to go
Well,
around
he
City
does
Hall?
he has money in the operating in the
For that.
general fund, which
Okay.
we're not gonna.
But if he
cover
doesn't have
today.
enough, we could take some out of here
I
probably.
think we upped it,
In
didn't
theory-
we?
in theory, well, just want to explain to you.
He
some-
bought a bunch this year, right? Lights.
Yes. I think we budgeted 20, and then, well, I know he reduced it in the general, but we can always up it when we
How many
get.
lights do we have total this year?
I don't know if I just
653,000.
I just bought a boatload more for this
We had
building.
a kind of a number, didn't we, like 100,000 lights? or-
Oh, it was,
Something like that.
yeah, it's right, yeah.
So we want to
This
double
year I
that this
could
year.
pull
We're gonna have, I just bought 10,000.
And then double it again next year and
More lights.
keep on doubling it till the city's lit up? That's right.
Squirrels.
Because I want City Hall
So
done next
beautiful at
year, so
Christmas
we're
time
doing,
around
we're
here.
doing City Hall this coming.
Yeah,
I mean,
Okay.
in theory, we could spend it from there, but I would rather budget it out of
right.
general fund.
Just put it on the
because-
item it's supposed to be used out of. Yeah.
Because you cannot use penny for Pinellas money for that, because it's,
Hard to
really-
track
it's
it, too,
not,
yeah.
it's not capital, really. So
Right.
you can't
Okay.
use it, so what I'd have to do is transfer money from general fund anyway, and that affects your millage.
So-
Going forward, I think we're gonna have a pretty tight capital budget. That's-
Back to page 1, and the first item under expenditures, that capital outlay equipment, that 99,400, what is that?
You see the previous year, that 92,000, the line below?
Yeah.
I moved that up to that line, that's $80,000 budgeted for the AV equipment in here.
Oh, okay.
And she's gonna look at it in July and August, but she said, what's easier to, if it doesn't happen, is it easier to add it? I said, it's easier to delete it, because number one, I make sure it's in the budget, so I put it in there. If it happens this year, we would pull 80,000 out of there, so.
The sale of assets, is that the station?
Yes, it is.
How likely is that gonna, I mean, to actually sell it?
I don't know.
Yeah, but you have to, I know.
And in my explanation, when I get there, basically, my comment is, well, that the bottom line, the appropriated fund balance, 1,325,000, that's money you would have to take out of your cash, out of your savings, okay? Obviously, if we don't sell the station, add that to that number, okay? And that would bring the estimated to 2,420,000 that would have to come out of our cash. And that's where the 7.3 million came in, that where I think I'll be, when we take that out, it would bring our cash down to about 4,850,000.
That's like assuming that we would sell the station in the couple of months that we're not in there, right?
Well,
Unless we do a
we're thinking
campaign.
May, yeah, June, July, August, 4 months. Yeah.
Which it
It
wasn't.
might be best to move it, to roll it forward. The other thing is, I'm not sure how accurate that value is. That was an assessed value.
That was a while ago, wasn't it?
A year.
I think that's low,
Well, I'm thinking it
Yeah.
could be too.
yeah.
So, but until we get an actual appraisal and get closer, I don't want to put a massive, I don't want to put a number in there that's
Yeah.
gonna.
Also take.
I mean, at
that's
what
gonna make it
point-
look like we're
The condition that
you know.
building's in, though, the money that somebody's gonna have to put into it, it's gonna put it over the limit for, they're gonna have to raise it up or waterproof it. So that's gonna be quite expensive, process for anybody who wants to do something there. They more likely have to just tear it down and
Yeah,
start over.
and I was gonna say, they might have to just tear the building
Yeah.
down.
Just-
If
What
they're gonna,
about,
if they're gonna try to redo that building, like I said, new roof, they gotta redo something with the restrooms, they're gonna do a lot of work in that, inside that
but
building.
what about something like the extension of the, what do you call those things? Where you put all your junk?
The storage.
Yeah, the storage units.
I mean,
I
like,
mean, if they would think about expanding, yeah,
Don't you
right.
call my
Towards
stuff
the back.
junk?
I'm sorry, you're just paying to store it. But I mean, at what point do we actually actively try to sell it? I mean, do we wait until we're out of there, or do we try to think
At least
about it?
closer to it,
yeah, as you get
Middle
nearer,
of-
when
middle of
when
next
we're
year.
sure we're
in
gonna,
the spring
or
maybe.
close to being sure that we're gonna get to move into the new station, I would think that'd be within a 3-4 month
Maybe I
window.
was
Yeah.
gonna say 2, 3
We'll know if
months.
there's gonna be any
Yeah.
issues or not. And we can probably put some feelers out, but that can always be part of the agreement that, you don't get it until we're actually out.
Right.
I mean, I really wish it was in a lot better condition, because it would make a great senior center. I've seen some fire stations converted before into those types of things, but it's just, the cost, and right now with building the fire station, getting into a deeper debt with something like that, is just not
Well,
feasible.
nobody wanted to put more money into it
Yeah.
to make it a better place, knowing that we were looking at a new building.
Anyway.
All right, just curious as to.
We'll see. I know there were some people asking about it. I mean, there's always the possibility that, that instead of selling it, someone might want to do a 30-year lease or something on it, and they'll do the improvements. There are options like that, businesses come and go.
Is that
but
something
You never know.
we should consider? Like a lease?
I mean, it would,
Be income coming in, but it wouldn't be a lump sum like that, but it would be a,
yeah, it wouldn't add that kind of money to our coffers, I mean,
yeah.
It could cover the debt service, a lot of news station,
Yeah.
you know.
yeah, depending what the lease payments are, yeah.
You know, it's just one of those, what they're gonna use it for, whoever might be interested in it.
Because I mean, here, cash balance is important, that's why I bring up the 4.8. I mean, if you recall, I said I wouldn't want us to go below 2, but that was really slim. I'd really not like to go below 3, so you have a couple debt service payments there, but at some point. you
Let's just hope it
gotta-
sells, and then we won't have to look at other options, but we'll figure it out.
I mean, I know for insurance purposes, we got 2 million plus as an appraised value, but that's including building. And, you know, if they can't use the building, yeah.
See what they can do.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. And I
have
guess
nothing.
the biggest, in the other two, on page one, the two biggest items there is the debt service. You see the 533,000 principal and the 372,000 in interest, so its total is 905,760. And going out for 15 years, you can pretty much say about 906,000. That's what the annual debt service is gonna be. That debt service is actually due on October 1, so it's actually due the first day of the next fiscal year. I don't anticipate doing that. I anticipate letting it go a day or so early, so within this fiscal year, so that's why it's in the budget there, so. Okay. And then I guess I was gonna, from there, I mean, those are the highlights on that, the big items. I guess one thing I was gonna mention, I think I was gonna mention it when we go to Exhibit B, the 5-year plan. On the 5-year plan, in that 2024 column, you'll see a little bit more specific what we're gonna purchase. Just as an overview, a real quick overview, if you go to page 4, if you see our total 2024 capital expenditures are $4,758,540. 305,000 of that is for our sewer fund. And in most cases, every year, we budget $125,000 basically for sewer video. They go through the lines and they video, and then sewer line repairs. My understanding is that we are pretty much have videoed the whole city, so we have lateral line repairs, and so it's kind of a reserve, $125,000 for videoing, repairing any. Also have $25,000 for pump replacement in the various lift stations. So you kind of see that across the board, and that brings our normal budget for the sewer to be about $150,000 a year. But in 2024, we also have $155,000. I think that's for a lift station #1 generator. So, because I know we're actually in the process, and this year we've paid some engineering fees towards that, so, but we rolled $155,000 forward. So total sewer budget is $305,000. The balance is in this capital improvements fund, the $4,453,540. And what I did just for comparison purposes, if you take out the 5 largest items in the budget, the first one, I budgeted $1,418,550 for the completion of the fire station. And basically what I did is I took our guaranteed maximum price was $10,140,450. 1,418,000, whatever. And I'm anticipating getting through about 9 million of that during 2023, the year we're in. So it left the 1,418,000, so that's where that came from. If you take out the debt service of 905,760, you take out your 2 emergency generators that we talked about previously, they come to 600 and some odd, more than 700 and some odd $1,000. If you take out the Bayview Park Pavilion, 800,000, the net balance is about 701,505. And in a normal year, that's about